So one of the things that you often hear associated with a resume is going to be the cover letter, right? And cover letter is vital. It's really important. So the way to think of it is this: for you to land this job or internship that you're looking to apply to, three things need to happen. You need to have a solid resume, all right? You need to interview extremely well, and they have to appreciate and like your cover letter. Now, what do you include in a cover letter? This is your chance to shine. This is where you highlight the skills that you bring to the table, all right, and sell them to the employer. Think of it this way: your resume, it's great, right? It's a bunch of bullet points, though. It doesn't really go into detail. It doesn't really show everything that you can do, all right? Cover letter lets you expand a bit and say, look, these are some of the keys, experiences that I have. These are some of the things I've done in the past. This is how I can bring success to your place as a potential employee. All right, you want to take a look at the job description and really go through it with a fine tooth and comb and highlight the keywords, highlight the things specifically that employer is looking for. Once you find those items, those are the things that you want to talk about in the cover letter. Now, this can be a real pain, and I say that in a sense that if you're applying to 10 or 15 jobs, it's 10 or 15 cover letters you have to write. You cannot fall into the trap of writing one good cover letter and firing that thing off everywhere. It just won't work. It will not work. Employers will see right through it, and it just doesn't look good for you. All right, take the extra time, specifically write out the cover letter, make it so that it applies and fits perfectly with the job position and description that you're applying for. All right, your first paragraph, all right, we're talking paragraphs here. These are relatively short. You're probably looking at 4, maybe 5 paragraphs. All right, first paragraph is your intro: who you are, what position you're applying for, when you found out about it, and how. All right, we're going to skip to the bottom, your very last paragraph. That's going to be your closing. That's where you say something along the lines of, thank you very much for taking the time to review my materials. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Please stay in touch. All right, something very simple, nice, kind of soft like that. The middle 2 or 3 paragraphs, depending on how you want to do it, that's where you really have to talk about your skill set. That's where you give examples of what you've done. That's where you kind of paint the picture for the employer and show them, look, if you hire me, here's what you're going to get, because these are some of the things I've done in the past. Now, granted, you may not have a whole lot of experience yet, and maybe you have to rely on coursework, and that's perfectly okay. All right, but you want to make sure whatever you talk about in that cover letter, that it's something that's either transferable or relates specifically to the qualifications for that job that you're applying for. You want to make sure in your cover letter that you're avoiding slang. All right, this is a professional letter, so you want to keep it that way. You want to address it to somebody. The last thing you want to do is write a cover letter, and this happens a lot. It's common. I've been in this business for years. Dear hiring manager, or to whom it may concern. You don't want to do that, all right? That's overplayed. Ideally, find out who will be reading these materials, who will be reading the cover letters. Address the document to that person. It's not always easy. If you're applying to the government, maybe you can't, but if you can take that extra step and find out who will be reading it, it's going to help you immensely. You're going to look that much better as a candidate, all right? The other item, make sure when you're putting your cover letter together, all right, that the header that you use up top with your name and all, make sure that that is the same header that you use on your resume. All right, the last thing you want to do is change it up and have there be some inconsistencies. You have to look at this as a branding exercise too. So the cover letter and the resume should always look alike.